hello, and it's your man E here, main event E, your man for all your wrestling, know abouts and all your crazy cool factoids. Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today. We will be covering the world of wrestling industry as we provide insight on just basically everything that is wrestling. We have a little bit of a Thursday Night Wrestling review, which is Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. And we have a WWE SmackDown tonight, a nice little preview to, what you're going to see, in terms of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, the tag team tournament, things heating up between Rey Mysterio and Santos. It's going to be pretty badass. And we're gonna, follow that up with, just a lot of nice little wrestling stories. We have our wrestling news roundup, and yeah, make sure you find a snack, get a nice cold beverage, and don't go anywhere. So, as always, we get a number of questions from our viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your questions gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Just put your questions up on top of the list so I can communicate and interact with the fans of the show, or just anybody dropping in to watch their first wrestling podcast. And if that's the case, I feel absolutely honored. But hey, it helps the show. Leave a positive review, hit that like and subscribe button. Here at the GSMC Podcast Network, we like peace, love, and positivity, in the world of sports. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to our first segment. We have our Thursday Night Wrestling review. Let's kicking right on into it. We have our Ring of Honor Women's Television World Championship tournament, and I gotta be honest, guys, I'm sorry I steered you down the wrong path. Billy Starks defeated Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez was kind of like my pick to kind of win it all because she has that, like, just that experience that it takes to, hold a championship of that kind of caliber. Kind of like compare it to like kind of like a Charlotte Flair. Like when Charlotte Flair is always back in the WWE creative and writing, they know that they can put a strap on, Charlotte Flair, and she's good enough on the mic, she's good enough in the ring, and she's good enough to kind of push her other employees, her fellow wrestlers, to kind of produce a match that everybody wants to see. And I think Mercedes Martinez really excels in that. But Billy Starks, I'm not taking anything away from her. She won, fair and square. But I don't know. This is definitely going to heat things up a little bit because the next match I want to talk about was the Queen Aminata defeating Red Velvet, which is crazy because both of them came into this fight like on a roll. They've won like 5 of their last, 6 matches or something like that. I read on Ring of Honor, but it was nice that the Queen was able to get her first win over Red Velvet because Red Velvet had her number for the longest time. So now, Queen Aminata punches her ticket to fight at Ring of Honor Supercard for that Women's Television World Championship. So, make sure you, next month, by the way, look it up, find out where it is, find out where it's at, and it's gonna be a good watch. All right, kind of doing a rundown here. We got Lee Johnson defeating London Lightning. We also have Johnny TV. He did a backstage promo. Johnny TV, if you don't know him as Johnny TV, he was Johnny Nitro, and then he eventually moved from Johnny Nitro to John Morrison, where he was kind of like this Jim Morrison, where he'd come out and started to be like frolicking through the wind, and like you would see cameras like snapping like shots, and you have the black and white kind of going on, so it was kind of like this authentic, like it kind of seemed like you were watching like The Doors, like what I mean. That was kind of what he was kind of going for. I actually remember that night he came out on, I think it was Raw, the night he came out on Raw, and he was like, and not a lot of you guys know this, but my name's John Morrison, and then I was like, oh my god, it's like Jim Morrison, but it's not Jim Morrison, it's John Morrison. But hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever helps you get the most, likes or the most, viewers and stuff like that. If you want to compare yourself to Jim Morrison, which was, he was a phenomenal musician. Um, like go right on ahead, but I don't know if you're gonna represent that Morrison name, make sure you do that, for the doors. People are strange. People are crazy. I'm just kidding. But I would like to see him make a run in Ring of Honor myself. He wasn't really, he's a good wrestler. He puts on a lot of good matches. He tag teamed with the Miz for a pretty long time, and they kind of had that like their little gimmick back in WWE like a couple years ago. And I don't know. I just think Johnny TV could definitely like fight for matches. Like the men's digital media championship, or like fight, or maybe go to AEW. That's a possibility in the world of that kind of wrestling with New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, and then you had AEW, which is kind of cool. The way that they're all kind of intertwined. But I don't know. I think that'd be. I don't know. I think Johnny TV. He has enough talent to kind of you know, keep the fans on the edge of their seats, tune in. And I know he's been doing it a long time. He's been doing this thing a very, very long time. He's been in the wrestling business. So it's interesting to find out what they're going to do with his character next. Um, so, so Hakura Shida she defeated Rachel Ellinger, and Athena, of course, came out. She pulled up a chair. All eyes were on Sheeta. Obviously, Sheeta came back, and she obviously was a Ring of Honor Women's Champion, prior, years before. And honestly, I think she's going to be the next one to challenge Athena. Athena has really been kind of like dominant in the women's division there. Um, and I don't know, she's like I said, I saw her before as Ember Moon in NXT and WWE, and I was very, very, very sad to see her go. And then once when I found out she was on Ring of Honor, I was like, oh wow, that's cool. Like a lot of these people on Ring of Honor, you kind of see, and it's like kind of like a blast of nostalgia. You're like, oh my god, I remember John Morrison or Johnny Nitro. I remember Athena. I remember watching Dean Ambrose. I remember watching Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler and stuff like that. And a lot of people, they still wonder like where these guys go. But they kind of just some people just accept and be like, oh well, they're not on WWE, so they're probably not in the wrestling world anymore, which is wrong. Which is wrong because WWE is not the only wrestling fandom out there. Obviously there's more. So it's good to expand your mind. Like, sorry, that was a little too much. Um, so like I said, Athena came out, total badass, and basically stating her claim as like the most dominant Ring of Honor Women's Champion of all time, which no one's proved her otherwise. So, anyways, so Diamante says to Billy Starks that the win she had was a fluke over Mercedes Martinez. And just to kind of defend my stance here, because I was obviously wrong and I lied to you guys. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I just thought she was really good, and like all of a sudden, this Billy Starks girl, as talented as she is, she comes and she messes up my pick, man. They could have didn't put money on that. You know what I mean? Like, but the sports gambling's wrong. You know what I mean? But if you do it, on the weekends, it's cool. I'm just kidding. But so her kind of going out there and stating that it was a fluke is just basically kind of like a setup for a Diamante and and a Billy Starks match for the future. That's why I think Billy Starks would lose, or maybe she's gonna win, and maybe that'll be a reason for Diamante to come into the picture and challenge her at a pay per view down the line, which is a lot of the times what wrestling does. You know what I mean? Wrestling oftentimes when they pick their champion, as soon as they do, they kind of like start planning for the next, like, start writing the stories, guys. You have to get the butts in the seats, the eyes on the tube, and just, I don't know, you just have to put the fun in the brand. So I think we have some pretty good matches to come in the women's division. The women's division, the Ring of Honor has been kicking ass. Like, to be honest, like in NXT, it's pretty good. Obviously, WWE, it's like they're kind of held on this pedestal, but Ring of Honor, I think they're doing it right. All right, so Matt Sindal defeated T.J. Crawford, and This brings us to a Thursday Night Impact, where the Rebellion referendum to find out who's going to challenge the X Division champion Mustafa Ali. Jake something came out the victor. The match was a little, the way it was kind of introduced was a little funky, but we have a match. We have the next X Division challenger, and I don't know. Mustafa Ali's kind of playing that cocky, like, can't touch this thing, can't touch. But he's playing off that, like, that confident, like, heel. So he's doing a really good job of that. So we had the Time Splitters defeating GYV. Also, we had Crazy Steve defeating PCO, which, like I talked about in our last podcast about PCO, like, this guy looks, he's a monster, but, usually sometimes the monsters are, like, kind of like that gentle soul on the inside. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like how, like, Kane during his run with Daniel Bryan as Team Hell No, where you kind of got to learn the whole different side of Kane. And, he's not just this guy like The Undertaker's brother who's emotionally damaged, storyline, kayfabe. But he has feelings. I have feelings too. I know, but, like, I don't know, the way they kind of do these with the wrestlers is, I don't know, like, it's pretty cool. It's like a storyline that works 110% of the time. So hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Ash by Elegance wins her third straight match wrestling for Impact Wrestling. So I think she's kind of like the next, like, up and comer. Like, they're kind of grooming her up to kind of fight someone like Athena or Billy Starks for the women's television world championship, which would be kind of cool. Like, if Billy Starks wins at the Supercard next month, maybe she can fight in a triple threat match between Diamante and and Ash by Elegance. That would be actually pretty cool to watch. You know, and the way she finished her match, I kind of had to take a step back. Her finishing move was a Swanton Bomb, which is obviously famously made by Jeff Hardy. So I don't know, it's kind of cool to see that, like, kind of. I know Kevin Owens uses it, and I know a lot of people kind of use it, but, like, not very much. It was kind of trademarked by Jeff Hardy when he was doing his whole thing with the Hardy Boys and stuff like that. But I don't know, it was kind of it was kind of cool to see that again, especially like in the women's division. I don't know, pretty awesome. Next, Nick Nemeth, he spoke about that he will no, it's not even a chance that you know like he will lose to Moose, but he says he's gonna win at Rebellion, and you can't stop him. Like, you can't stop this guy. He has a huge, like, chip on his shoulder, especially coming from the WWE. And I think he actually poked a personal shot at Vince McMahon when he said the system has always been against him. Like, where he was the world champion, and then eventually, like, he was kind of not used, so to speak, but he was kind of like that guy to kind of, usually there's like that heel who dominates, and then some people have that heel as kind of like a bridge marker for WWE to build up this baby face, so the baby face could get super popular with the crowd and eventually beat down the soft heel, which I think was kind of like a Dolph Ziggler kind of thing. But you know, so Moose spoke about it. And he spoke about how Nick Nemeth, through his career, he has been in a lot of top matches. He has a lot of accomplishments. He's also faced some of the business's best, which he has. In WWE, you see Dolph Ziggler. I remember seeing him get destroyed by Goldberg, but I don't know. I think all Goldberg matches are kind of like, I don't know, like, I would be better off not watching them. Like, I like Goldberg. Like, he's cool and all, but he was never really like a good wrestler. Like, he never really put on great matches. Like, he was always that, like, that one hitter quitter kind of guy, kind of like a Brock Lesnar, kind of like a Mike Tyson in the ring, where he wasn't like, he didn't do all this fancy stuff like the bob and weave. But once when he hit that final shot, like, you knew it was over. The match didn't last as long as you would hope it would be, but I guess winning's winning. So yeah, last thing I want to talk about is Jordan Grace defeating the challenger, Tasha Steeles, which we kind of all knew this would happen because, I don't know, Jordan Grace, she actually kind of broke the barrier in the Women's Royal Rumble this year, where she came out and she was in the Royal Rumble in WWE. So it was kind of cool. Like, you're like, oh wow, you see this Impact wrestler, and before then it was like never really seen. As I mentioned before, that like a lot of people would probably like to see Sting versus The Undertaker, DX versus the NWO, Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like you would love to see these guys just like go ham at each other, but it never, it never happened, But I think it'd be super cool to like see like Daniel Bryan walk out on like a new Japan wrestling platform and just challenge Roman Reigns and WWE and just like I don't know, see how that. I think that would be pretty cool. I think wrestling, the world of wrestling, would be oh, like that's crazy. How are they allowing this? Like, oh, like I know I'd be super excited to see it. Like, we miss Daniel Bryan. Well, Brian Danielson. Oh God, I'm never gonna get used to that. But he's doing good with where he's at right now. So obviously, we wish him the best. But Jordan Grace is a great dominant champion. I think she's gonna have the strap on her for a pretty long time. All right, don't go anywhere. We have our WWE SmackDown preview, and it's not it's every SmackDown episode. It's kind of a lot to break down, but let's try to break it down within the segment time. So don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. What we recently talked about was our Thursday night wrestling review between Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and next we're going to talk about SmackDown and some of the main things that I have about like segments about SmackDown is that you could probably make a segment like this last like an hour because there's just so much to break down, so much, but so little time. So let's just get right on into it. So we have Naomi looking to glow up Io Sky. Obviously, since Bayley's turn, since she was beat up by Damage Control, she kind of relied on a couple of old familiar friends like Naomi and Bayley. They were friends and they were actually seen on social media of wearing disguises to go see the CEO during her her debut in Boston on AEW Big Business. But Naomi is looking to stick up for her friend Bayley. Although Naomi, like, she's talented. I'm not like trying to take anything away from her because hey, she'd probably kick my butt. But I don't know, like she's not really in that like caliber like category like Io Sky's in. And Io Sky's kind of been this like protected, like kind of like just protected, fandom that they're waiting for her to fight Bayley. And Io Sky's not really, coming out and showcasing her talent on, televised weekly shows. Well, as much as she used to, coming back from, coming up from NXT. Um, Honestly, I think this match is going to be, Io Sky looking like she's probably gonna lose, and Naomi building up confidence, getting ready to lay the final blow. But then, of course, Dakota Kai and the Kabuki Warriors come in and they find a way to help Io Sky win. which is, the right way to kind of have this. See, this is actually that perfect example of what I was talking about earlier about this baby heel. You have this soft heel, Io Sky, and then you have this. They're trying to build up Bailey as like a baby face, and Bailey's going to take her title at WrestleMania. Well, I guess that's just you know, honestly, that's my opinion. But it'd be interesting to see what they do if they keep the strap on Sky because Io Sky, it's not like she's bad. It's not like she's a bad wrestler. It's not that she's like she can't sell a promo, but it's just that I don't know. Right now, Bailey's on fire. She's the Women's Royal Rumble winner. She chose her friend who was talking crap behind her back, trying to plot this the whole time. That episode of SmackDown where she like spoke Japanese, and they're like, "Oh my God, you speak Japanese!" Oh my God! Like I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't know. I thought it was a little cheesy, but it's not like I don't like cheesy. Me, myself, my person, I'm cheesy as heck. Like I'm the cheesiest guy you'll ever meet. I still lay down like one-liners to girls, or I still, well, my girls meaning my wife, but I'm still like a total dork and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. People like dorks. Dorks will rule the world, guys. We will rule the world in a positive way. Peace, love, and positivity, baby. So next match we want to talk about is the Street Profits against AOP. To be honest, AOP has been absolutely dominant since they came back. And it's going to be kind of hard to see the Street Profits win this match, but I think they will. I kind of hope they will because in that tag team ladder match, like the moment WWE kind of made that a six-pack ladder match for the World Tag Team titles, they kind of cemented that they kind of want competitors that are able, like high-flying individuals. And obviously, you see Montez Ford's move from the heavens and D'Angelo Dawkins for a big guy like that, big strapping guy, like that guy, he could fly. That guy can move. Like he's got the juice. He's got the juice, and I think him and Montez Ford will definitely they're gonna win this match. They should win this match, some way, somehow. I don't know if Karrion Kross is gonna get involved or Bobby Lashley is gonna find a way to screw them over AOP. And but I would honestly like to see Montez Ford and D'Angelo Hawkins kind of move on here. The next, we're going to keep on the tag team six-pack challenge for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. We got the OC fighting Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I'm kind of done seeing this Austin Theory, Grayson Waller kind of, kind of like this pack or kind of like this, like mutual, like beneficial relationship kind of thing. Like, I don't want to see them tag anymore, man. Like I thought when Grayson Waller let Theory get his butt kicked out in Australia at Elimination Chamber, I thought that was kind of like gonna be like the last thing that they're gonna do before they kind of turn them against each other. But like I said before, you have Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Do you see them doing a top rope move? Do you see them climbing up the ladder and jumping on the announce table, setting up like a regular table or like having like a table of chairs? No. And that's the reason why they're going to lose this match because WWE wants to have people like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller who are, kind of like aerial, assassins, so to speak. I'm not taking anything away from the OC because the OC's, dominant in their own way. But I don't know. I think Austin Theory right now. He used to be the United States champion, so I don't know. And I think in the future he will be kind of something bigger than he actually is right now. But I don't know. So they're gonna kind of try to keep him around here. You're gonna see Grayson Waller in Theory come up with the win tonight, and that's gonna be that. And I believe that they have the talent to put on one hell of a ladder match at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. So. I think that's pretty cool. And it could be kind of cool to see Austin Theory like as a heel and he goes face to face with Finn Balor or Damian Priest. It's always cool to see like when wrestling comes down to its finest, seeing two heels, going at each other. So I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, next we have Rey Mysterio is going to confront Santos Escobar and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. And this is going to be an all-out fight. on All Out Fight. The LWO was they're in the triple threat match to find out who's gonna fight Braun Breaker in NXT. But to be honest, I don't know. I know that they're probably all gonna end up in the Andre the Giant Memorial, and they're probably gonna go at it then. But it would be kind of cool to see like a 3-on-3, like Rey Mysterio and the LWO versus you know versus Santos Escobar and his Carrillo and Garza. I think that would be pretty dope to see that, but I don't think we're gonna get that. That's kind of cool to see on a pre-show. It would be cool to see it on the main card, either night one or night two. So I'm so pumped for WrestleMania. So pumped. It's gonna be pretty dope. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm counting on the days. Saturday, I'm gonna record it. I probably won't call off, although I really, really want to. you know. So if you live in like the California area and you see my car, like if you just can slash my tires, like I want to be mad. I want to be mad. I'd be like, oh no, I can't. What happened? No, I can't go to work. What the like? And I'd be like, oh, I gotta stay home and watch WrestleMania. Oh no, oh no. Would I sacrifice like my tires to watch WrestleMania? You betcha. But no, WrestleMania's gonna be pretty badass. That's all I'm gonna say. Kind of last thing I want to talk about with SmackDown is last Monday night on Raw. Paul Heyman came out with this little like ladies and gentlemen, and like I don't know, he came out with this like smug like little entrance, like he's like a snake, but he is being inducted into the Hall of Fame for good reason, for very very good reason. Like you can, and like, going back to the ECW days where he was honestly like he was one of the only ones who like really really cared about the business and he put in so much effort to kind of make the ECW work, and as we can see today, it really didn't really kind of survive, but since he made it to the WWE, he's been like probably one of the most prominent managers of all time. Like, you know what I mean? He's up there with Jimmy Hart. No, wait, is that right? The guy who had the microphone, like I don't know, like he was pretty prominent. He had Sensational Sherry, of course. She was a manager for a pretty long time. Like when I think Sable was also a manager. You have honestly like Paul Heyman's kind of like been one of the biggest, most influential, kind of like a male managerial like standpoint that I think I don't know, WWE's doing the right decision making him part of the Hall of Fame. But anyways, so he promised Cody on Monday Night Raw that it's just going to be him and Roman. He gives him Roman Reigns' word, and the Bloodline will not be there. Which honestly, it's kind of hard to believe that based on the days are getting numbered to WrestleMania. Obviously, I think Roman is starting to figure out that his time as Universal Champion it's numbered. It's numbered. So I don't know if they're gonna try to get someone to try to attack Cody Rhodes, but they need to do as much damage as they can within these 2 weeks to just try to give Roman the best chance at winning or retaining the Universal Championship. So it should be interesting to see what Paul Heyman has up his sleeve, because obviously I think there is something. And I don't think The Rock's gonna be there. I think he's coming back next Monday. I think he might, or next SmackDown. But well, I don't think Monday, because Monday they're trying to hype it up for like the CM Punk back in Chicago kind of thing. But I don't know. What they do from now on with this storyline amongst the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes is going to be absolutely crucial and pivotal, toward kind of like the narrative that they're trying to paint in WrestleMania 40, because I think they want to paint something to the point where it's going to be memorable. Like a lot of people look toward WrestleMania and they're like, "Oh my God, WrestleMania, the greatest spectacle in sports entertainment history." And I don't WrestleMania in the past couple of years. Oh, obviously there has been a couple of memorable matches, but nothing at all as memorable as this, where the challenger Cody Rhodes fought last year and he was screwed over his chance, and he took another year to come back to have the same opportunity on the same platform, on the same pressure that is WrestleMania. Oh my God, the crowds are going to be so into it. It's going to be so awesome to watch. And I think that's kind of reason why they're having the tag team matches to kind of have a double dose of Reigns and Cody, which is good for, business. So, hey, I ain't mad at you, but anyways, so WWE SmackDown is going to be it's going to be a goodie. Um, all right, next, speaking of WrestleMania, our next segment, we're going to have a little sneak peek at WrestleMania, talk about a couple of the matches that are happening. So, hey, stick around.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, all right, all right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Podcast presented to you by the GSMC Sports Network. So just kind of talk about what we, spoke about recently is we had our nice little Thursday night wrestling review. We also had our Friday night SmackDown preview. And up next, we have a nice little WrestleMania sneak peek. So let's get on into it. But first, just to remind you guys, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. With your questions, just put your questions up on top of the list so we can have like a nice little back and forth conversation. And I can see it. I want to see your opinions. Obviously, I don't just want to just talk at you guys. Like I want to have this nice little like this flow of just wrestling because wrestling is important to us. We're wrestling fans. We're a living and thriving, breed. It's always good to run into a wrestling fan. It's always good. Like I remember going to Disneyland, and I know this is kind of off, but I remember going to Disneyland, and I remember wearing my Seth Rollins shirt. And then someone came up to me like, "Hey, nice shirt, bro," and automatically I felt like this like connection, this like astronomical like whoa, like we just had a moment, me and this guy. But like I said, so leave a nice little review, something positive. We love we're peace, love, and positivity here. Once again, it helps the show. And again, the link is at gsmcpodcast.net. So let's go ahead and move on to that WrestleMania sneak peek. It's gonna be so awesome. Gonna be so cool. So we'll start light. Well, not even light because all these matches are just like oh my god, like this wrestling spectrum of awesomeness is just absolutely off the throttle. Let's start with Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Gunther versus Sami Zayn is going to be a match to remember, and Sami's gonna push Gunther to his limits. But I don't know, out of everyone, and it's so crazy, and it seems so kind of rude to like look at like Sami and be like, I don't think this guy can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Gunther's having a historic reign. It's to the point where you kind of have to think about, as a wrestling fan, when you come approach this kind of, this match, is like, you want to make sure when Gunther loses the championship, he's losing it to someone that WWE is going to go absolutely ape crap over. Like, they're going to push them over the limit. They're going to push them over the boundaries. They're going to be like, the next face. Honestly, I think Sami Zayn winning the championship would be good for the WWE because Gunther's been kind of, he's been there, done that. And he was supposed to fight, Brock Lesnar, but, the whole thing with the alleged scandal and stuff like that has left them kind of, unable to do so. But I don't know. Sammy's a good fighter. Sammy's a good fighter. You can pin him up against like Finn Balor or Ricochet, Austin Theory, Chad Gable. Oh, if they like feud Chad Gable and Sami Zayn after this, that would be pretty. WWE would definitely do it right. Um, Next, I have the Logan Paul United States Championship match in a triple threat match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. This match is going to be. I honestly, ever since SummerSlam was announced to be in Cleveland, Ohio, home spot for Logan Paul. I kind of knew that Logan Paul was going to go into Cleveland as the United States champion. I don't know who he's going to face, but maybe like another like Cleveland like or Ohio native. Like what if like imagine like Dolph Ziggler coming back or something like that, or Dean Ambrose? That'd be pretty cool. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But I some of the reasons why I believe they make like a triple threat match is that triple threat matches always usually kind of have, the sneaky, kind of slithery champion find a way to win the match by like a roll up or like that classic, like an RKO or a stunner to Randy Orton. And then like Logan Paul throws him out of the ring and like he covers the man, like taking credit and stuff like that. Everyone's pissed off because it's like, oh my God, you're really going to take credit for someone else's, like, someone else's thing, or he's going to use his alleged like brass knuckles that he's been using for a pretty long time, or KSI is going to find a way to interfere in the match and kind of ensure that Paul retains the championship. So honestly, I see these kind of like the strategic plan here for the match. It kind of varies, but I think the outcome is kind of all the same. I think Logan Paul's going to walk out. But all right, moving on, we have that six-pack ladder match challenge. Like right now, I don't know all the teams that are going to go through it, but I think it's going to be one of the best matches. I think they should make it for night 2. I think it should be right there before the Reigns and Cody match because it's going to be electric. It's going to be super cool to see these guys flying off the ladder, which is like that's kind of the reason why they implemented the Money in the Bank match is because you had 6 superstars trying to get that briefcase. And so much carnage, so much action. Those matches usually last like close to like 45 minutes because you essentially need to make sure all the other 5 opponents are down. Make sure you have time to climb up the ladder. Make sure you have time to unhook whatever you're trying to unhook. And in this case, it's going to be the world tag team titles. But to be honest, I really don't want to see Damian Priest and Finn Balor come out as champions. I know the Judgment Day has been um, a good faction this year. I give them that, but I don't know. I'm just tired of it. I'm just very, very tired of it. I want to see tag team wrestlers fight other tag team wrestlers, if that makes sense. Like, for an example, when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn won the titles away from the Usos at WrestleMania last year, I think it was the main event of night 1, actually. But I don't know. I kind of thought, I was like, oh man, you have these 2 singles wrestlers that should be fighting for championships like the Intercontinental, the United States, and I don't think Sammy's like really up to that, like Universal or WWE, but Kevin Owens perhaps. When you have 2 singles wrestlers fighting the tag team, that's probably the best way to put it. 2 singles wrestlers shouldn't be tag team champions. They shouldn't be tag team champions because then it just devalues other tag teams because you obviously the 2 singles wrestlers are kind of like not better than the tag team challengers per se, but I don't know. It seems like I don't like it. Like it just seems like they kind of have these guys on these pedestals that you can't really beat them. Like Finn Balor was the first ever Universal Champion. You have Senor Money in the Bank. Who knows how is he going to cash that in? But I think he cashes it in on WrestleMania. I guarantee it. I think he's going to cash it in on Seth beating Drew for the 3rd time, or Drew beating Seth Rollins, kind of renewing that Drew McIntyre Damian Priest rivalry. But I don't know. The Judgment Day has been riding this wave for a pretty long time, to be honest. I remember when the Judgment Day first started, I kind of thought about it and I was like, oh man, I don't think this faction's really going to work. And there was at times where it was about to fizzle away, but then Rhea Ripley, she won the women's championship, and then Finn Balor and Damian Priest won the tag team titles. Then Dirty Dom won the North American Championship in NXT. So that kind of created prestigious, value to the faction. But I don't know. It's not that I'm sick of it, but it's just that like I don't know. I could see Finn Balor kind of doing so much more, and I want to see Damian Priest and more of that like singles competition, kind of thing. But hey, I don't know which way they're gonna go through with it. But I'm just here to watch. I'm just here to go along for the ride. All right, next, let's talk about Rhea and Becky. Rhea Ripley. It's gonna be one hell of a match for the championship. Um, I think Becky right now she's on such a hot streak. Absolutely, like she's killing it, guys. Like she recently wrote a book. Um, and I think it's available on the 26th, but I think you can pre-order it right now on Amazon.com. But I don't know, like she's so over right now with the fans and stuff like that. Like she was a heel for a little while, but she didn't last very long because I think the fans love her too much. And I think she does really well as like kind of like the baby face. It's kind of like the face of the company, so to speak. But I can see her winning, defeating Ripley because Ripley's been this dominant just force. Or, knowing Becky's, wrestling background of letting other superstars win to kind of get over, you know what I mean? But I don't know who's woman enough to fight Rhea Ripley. Like I can see Nia Jax and her kind of rekindling, but Nia Jax kind of had her championship match at Elimination Chamber, so I don't think they would do that all again. But I think if you put the strap on Becky, you can kind of rehash that Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, feud, and then you can have Liv Morgan trying to finish her story and try to challenge Becky for the World Women's Championship. Because if Liv Morgan would challenge Rhea Ripley and had a match with her, we automatically would know that like Rhea Ripley would absolutely tear her apart. But since it would be Liv and Becky, I think Liv would have a chance. I think she would have a chance. So that's once again going over. Can a champion be too dominant? To kind of mess up future match cards and future bookings. I think it's a possibility. Moving on, we have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins has also been on a huge roll this year. Drew McIntyre has kind of made his way back into like the heel position because he does really well in both. Um, I think he insulted the crowd on Monday night that I was kind of like, okay. For a second, I thought Drew was kind of like one of those guys that are kind of out there to get his own. He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people like him or hate him, kind of like a Randy Orton kind of figure. But I don't know, the way he like spoke to the crowd, I was like, oh, like all that thought about Seth Rollins turning his back on Cody Rhodes kind of like went in the garbage. Like now, I think they're gonna win night one, the tag team match against The Rock and Roman. Now to kind of make it like a nice little one-on-one. But of course, probably the Bloodline's gonna get involved anyway. I think that pack that Paul Heyman makes and that Roman makes and The Rock makes absolutely means nothing. So, I don't know. I hope it's a nice little fair match, but it'd be entertaining as hell to watch either way unfold. So I'm just, I love watching wrestling. I'm here for the ride. So it's gonna be a good match between Seth and Drew overall, and I think that Damian Priest will, cash in his money in the bank in this match. So, for sure. I don't think he would cash it in. No, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't cash it in on Cody. I don't think he would. That would be the craziest cash in of all time, to be honest. As a wrestling fan, seeing that, of course, you had Seth Rollins come in and cash it in against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and then Michael Cole said, Seth Rollins wins the title, Seth Rollins wins the title, and it was just like such like an iconic call that it just echoes through your brain, and like I don't think there's been a crazy cash in like that for a pretty long time. I remember watching the original one when Edge cashed it in on John Cena, where John Cena just finished the Elimination Chamber match, and the structure just rose up, and then Vince McMahon came out and he's like, Edge is cashing in his money in the bank, and then it was history after that, kind of created the Rated R Superstar. Next we have LA Knight and AJ Styles. This is gonna be a good match. It's cool for both of the superstars who are like championship worthy, but they're kind of like it's kind of hard to compete with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns right now. But I don't know. I see them both in wrestling and championship bouts in the future. So I don't really see them going anywhere. But I don't know. AJ Styles has been all over wrestling. He really has. He's been New Japan Wrestling. He's been in Impact. I think he did a little thing with Ring of Honor. And I think he's kind of going back to that. Like he's been with the WWE for a pretty long time. And I think that's something that he's always wanted to try. And he's won some titles. He's won some titles. But I think ultimately he seems like he'd be happier, like more wrestling for that other promotion at AEW, TNA, and like Ring of Honor. I would miss him at like hell. Like I don't want to see AJ Styles leave, but the way they've been booking his, character lately, I don't know. It's to the point where in my brain, I'm like in their brain, and they're like, "What the hell do we do with Styles, man? Like he's so talented, but right now he can't. They don't want to put him over Gunther. They would never have him beat Roman or Cody if Cody wins. It'd be kind of interesting to see him and Seth kind of have like a nice little feud, but I don't know. And the LA Knight's kind of on the same like little wavelength. How he's really, really liked by the fans, and I don't know. I think it's. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do with his character, but he's been one of the better superstars that kind of rose this year in 2024. Well, 2023/2024 from last WrestleMania to this WrestleMania. All right, and I got Jimmy and Jey Uso, the brothers, going at it. Keep this short and simple. It's gonna be entertaining as hell. You know, like the Hall of Famer Rikishi said, it's good for both their careers. So let's watch it. It's gonna be pretty cool. All right, we got Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman. Kind of talked about this match earlier. Nothing really much to be said. Uh, oh man, there's gonna be like a lot of twists and turns, a lot of like just a lot of trash talking. It's gonna be it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know how fatigued they're gonna be from the night before, but moving on to the main event on night two, Roman Reigns versus Cody. I think Cody's gonna win it. I think the Bloodline, nevertheless, what happens on night one is gonna try to help Roman Reigns. Or but I don't think The Rock would ever like turn his back on. Well, maybe he would. Maybe he would, to kind of just like bring up a Rock and Roman thing in the future. But I don't know if they're kind of setting that up for next WrestleMania. But I don't know. It's gonna be crazy in the world of wrestling, and hopefully they don't disappoint. So I'm right there with you. So don't go anywhere. We got a WrestleMania little sneak peek. Next, we have our wrestling news roundup, where I will send you with some newsworthy topics over the weekend. And yeah, we can discuss. Don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, presented to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We recently talked about our Thursday night wrestling recap, and we also talked about our Friday night SmackDown review or preview. Oh, sorry, and just a little sneak peek into what we have in store for WrestleMania. But to kind of lead you guys into the weekend, here is our wrestling news roundup. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of wrestling, but these are like some of the main headlines that I kind of took once when I started, making this segment and kind of doing like a little bit of research on it. So our wrestling news, we have wrestler Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, of the Moral Compass. So he was off due to injury. Jon Moxley, like he's been with the AEW Spectre, New Japan. He's been with Ring of Honor. but he says he aims to be a different person when he comes back before coming back to AEW. So I don't think he's going to be coming back to AEW anytime soon. He's probably still kind of nursing an injury, using kind of Ring of Honor and New Japan Wrestling, and as like kind of like a test your strength kind of thing. Kind of like, not, I don't want to say minors because I don't want to devalue the two brands, but like, I don't know, kind of use it like a performance center, like an OVW for WWE. Kind of seeing how much can he push it, how much can he take, and how much it will affect the organization or the shows. Because believe it or not, you can tell when a wrestler is injured. You can tell when a wrestler is injured where they're not doing crazy stunts like they're used to. When like they have like little hitch in their step, they don't get on the top rope often. They don't jump over the top rope. It's all for the entertainment for the people, obviously sports entertainment. But I don't know. So John Moxley, he wants to come back to AEW. I think that's more or less kind of like the main news line that I kind of want to establish here, and it's gonna be pretty awesome when he comes back. So WWE star Natalia says that she's gonna have a pretty good breakthrough this year after Mania. I guess she's pretty high on her expectations for her future. Especially, she expressed how her partner Tegan Knox's growth has been very impressive. Tegan Knox and Natalia, they were, trying to fight for that prestigious women's tag team titles. And with the Kabuki Warriors kind of having it and kind of like the fall of Damage Control, happening before our very eyes, this could very much be a nice little match to, dethrone the Kabuki Warriors. It'd be pretty badass if, during SmackDown tonight, the Kabuki Warriors get challenged by Natalia and Tegan Knox, or just challenged by anybody. It's kind of crazy how all the titles will be defended except for the women's world tag team, which I kind of think that they're keeping it on the back burner for probably like a night like tonight, or maybe a night like tomorrow night, where there's going to be like this, maybe Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler challenge them. Maybe, who's it? Chelsea Green and her partner, try to, challenge for it. But I don't know. It should be interesting to see these guys go at it, especially Natalia. She's had such a long, illustrious career in the WWE. She's a good wrestler, and it's time for her to it's time for her to hold some kind of gold. It's been such a long time, absolutely such a long time. And Natalia, she kind of paved the way for a lot of these young superstars that are fighting in NXT now. Well, even in Raw and SmackDown. Natalia, she's part of the Hart family. The Hart family, very, very popular. You had Owen Hart. You had, I don't know why I wanted to say Kevin Hart. I almost said Kevin Hart, guys. Don't judge me. It's kind of late. Uh, Bret Hart, Jim the Nanville Hart, and he also had Jim Neidhart, and he also had the British Bulldog, and it was just like it was kind of like they could have had their own bloodline. What if they had their own bloodline? That would have been pretty cool. But if I was a writer back then, I'd be like, guys, guess what? Bloodline. They're like, we're saving that for the next 2 decades. Anyways, moving on. Um, one of the main wrestling stories that I kind of read about, and I kind of want to, further elaborate on in the next 7 minutes, is that WWE announces that they are bringing back the Slammy Awards, which is kind of like awards awarded to wrestlers that don't have titles. Uh, it's kind of sad to say, and I'm not trying. Like I said, obviously, the point of the podcast isn't to put anybody down, but let's just call it what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these awards are just to kind of give the people that are like, oh, I didn't have a run as the Intercontinental Champion, but I got a Slammy Award, like, and it's supposed to be like this cool, badass, prestigious gift. But I don't know. I think it's a joke. But it's just cool to see them do it. And I have the categories here. I also have some of the wrestlers that are up for some of the awards. So let's just go through them. You and I shall we? Will we? May we? So we have our first category. We have female superstar of the year. And then the nominations are Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Io Sky, and Becky. Female superstar of the year. Honestly, I would give it to Becky. I'd give it to Becky. So I mean, she's probably gonna lose at WrestleMania because instead of winning at WrestleMania, she's gonna get a Slammy. No, but I'm just kidding. No, I'm not trying to do that tonight. We also have male superstar of the year. People are running. We have Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Gunther, and Logan Paul. Um, Male superstar of the year. Wow, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. Wow. Shoot. Honestly, Cody. Honestly, Cody Rhodes is gonna win it, and I hope this doesn't affect his WrestleMania match card. But I think Cody's gonna win it. Best entrance: Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, The Rock, Seth Rollins, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, and Dominic Mysterio. I don't know how. Well, the WrestleMania 39 entrance. I don't remember really that entrance, but Becky's entrance isn't really that, Bianca's I'm on my own. Like that's pretty cool. The Rock, obviously, it's pretty cool. Rhea Ripley, but Cody Rhodes, Cody's gonna win, obviously, because everybody, they sing to us, adrenaline, and then and everybody goes crazy, and the fireworks go like pa 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 pa. Ah. I'm sorry like if you're watching this in bed trying to go to sleep and I just woke you up. I'm sorry. But I think Cody's entrance is gonna win this one. Return of the year: CM Punk, Nia Jax, The Rock, Randy Orton, Naomi. Oh, poor Naomi. No, Naomi has no chance. Um, but CM Punk's comeback was so cool when he came back during War Games and Seth Rollins was like, no, and he said the F word, and he was just like, that was pretty cool. That was a nice. But then The Rock coming back within the last like month has been pretty cool. Really, really cool for the storyline for the bloodline, which didn't really work out because the fans want to see Cody Rhodes instead of The Rock. But honestly, I would give this to CM Punk. Give this to CM Punk. He got injured this year, so they'll probably give it to him. Faction of the year: Judgment Day, Alpha Academy, Imperium, Damage Control, the Bloodline. The Bloodline. But no, I think the Judgment Day would win this. Judgment Day are gonna win this because they're going to lose their titles at WrestleMania. Rivalry of the year: Seth versus Drew, Dominic versus Ray. Oh, that's pretty good. Belair versus Damage Control, Roman Reigns versus Cody, R-Truth versus the Judgment Day. I think Reigns and Cody's going to take this one easily, honestly. NXT Star of the Year: you had Ija Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Lyra Valkyrie, Tiffany Stratton, or Braun Breaker. Ooh, Tiffany Stratton was pretty good. Braun Breaker is too. Oh, that's a Carmelo Hayes, Mello. Oh man, that's probably going to be the biggest coin toss, during the whole Slammy Awards. So I don't know. I can't really give you one on that one. Match of the year: Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Roman versus Sami Zayn, that was pretty good. Gunther versus Chad Gable on Raw. Asuka, Belair, and Flair on SummerSlam, and Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I think the Flair Rhea Ripley match was pretty dope, and I think that's probably gonna win. Oh my God, moment of the year: you had Ray punching Dominic. You had CM Punk return. Well, he already's gonna win a Slammy. Io Sky's cash in. You also have The Rock slapping Cody. And to be honest, I don't even got to read it any more further because when The Rock did that, it kind of, rose up the WWE universe and they're like, okay, now this is definitely going to happen. Next we have the Social Star of the Year, and we all know that they're probably just going to use this to give it to Logan Paul for helping like for the WWE get like sponsors and stuff like that. And hey, he's on the list. We have Grayson Waller, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre. Why is Drew McIntyre on there? Maybe, I don't know. Chelsea Green and Liv Morgan. Logan Paul is going to win that one. That one. Social Star of the Year right there. And lastly, the Breakout Star of the Year: Jay Uso, Tiffany Stratton, Pretty Deadly, Dragon Lee, and LA Knight. Oh, man. This one's also going to be a pretty hard one to, decipher. But I think Jay has this one beaten. I think Jay is going to win this one. Although Tiffany's been doing really, really well. Tiffy time! And LA Knight, yeah. I don't know. I think they're trying to groom Jay, to do so much more. Probably compete Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre next. But yeah. So that was my show, mate. I hope you liked it. Once again, thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, presented to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us. So remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Leave a positive review. And guys, it really does make a difference. Your guys's your views and opinions, stuff like that. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more content and updates. And like I said, if you're not a huge wrestling fan, and if I didn't convince you right now, we have my man Kenneth on football. We have Nelson on basketball. We have Sam on baseball. Thomas on college sports. We have the Andrew Tate Show. And we have TJ just doing sports, all in all. We also have a bunch of hundreds and hundreds of other podcasts. We are one of the biggest entertainment capital of the world. So, thank you once again for listening to me babble on like an idiot. Hope you guys liked it, and have a phenomenal day.
I don't wanna go to Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to